So first of all, Grady, welcome to
Yes,
the
sir.
platform. Really happy to have you on. To be honest, Grady, I don't know anything about you. I'm really excited because I got a ton of questions. My curiosity is like buzzing. So I'm like, welcome to the platform, and please introduce yourself, man.
Well, thank you very much for having me on your platform. You know, my name is Grady. As everybody knows, I'm a Trinidadian. I lived in Barbados for 12 years, lived in Canada for 2 years, and now I'm in the States for going on 18 years.
Well, let me see. Probably the first Trini. No, no, no. I've had Emil Ramsamy. So maybe the second Trini coming on the platform. So welcome, man.
Thank you.
Nice to have you on, man.
I
So tell
appreciate
me
it.
a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, I started off as a groom in Trinidad back in the 80s, and I started off as a groom, well, a lightweight what, from 12 years, and I was working at a farm they call Laurel Stud Farm in Arima at Santa Rosa Park. And yeah, I started off there working as a groom, and then I was getting $5 for 5 horses for a week because I was still going to school, you know. And then after that, about a year after, I come and end up in the paddock in Arima from a little
Wow,
kid as a lightweight.
wow.
And from there on, there's a guy in Canada. His name is Aaron. I don't know if you know Aaron. He used to have the ponies at Woodbine.
I know a guy named Richard that has from Trinidad that has ponies, but I don't know Aaron.
Yeah, no, that Richard Prasad. But
Okay.
Aaron, he had ponies he used to do ponies at Woodbine Racetrack. That was years ago, you know. Yeah, so I started off with him in Trinidad as a lightweight, and he ended up getting my license for me um, with a trainer they call Walter Debbie Singh. That was way back then. And I branched off from there, and I went to a trainer they called Tyrone Abdul, and I started with him. That when I officially get my groom license, and I started groom horses from about 13 years, going all the way up. And then I leave. I worked with him for about 5 years, and then I leave. I went to Canada, and I went to Canada, but I only stayed 2 weeks, and I
Only
went
two
back home.
weeks?
Yeah, but listen,
Why? Why did you only stay 2 weeks, man?
um, that time, I was young, like 14, 15 years, right? You know, and when you know that, to be in a horse racing game and get a horse thinking that is a good horse. I mean, it was a real good horse from F. Well, back then we got F class, so they used to go from G class to F. But he was a Matican horse by the name of Tavru. And when you started off and you get a good horse, you don't want to give up that horse.
Right, exactly.
And I leave it and I went to Canada and I come back home, to get the horse back to mine. And that was a mistake I made
Wow.
because I should have stayed in Canada. They never give him back the horse. And the horse went from F class to A class.
Now, how old were you at that time, and did you learn a valuable lesson at that time?
Yep, yep. I learned a big lesson. See, in horse racing, nothing is guaranteed.
Wow, that's true. That's true.
Nothing is guaranteed. If you have something and then hold on to it and you're doing good with it, try and don't let that get away from you at all. Otherwise, you can be in big trouble. You know. But yes, I
Yes.
started off from there. And I worked with Abdul for about hmm, I think about 7 or 8 years. Yeah, I worked with him, and then I leave and I went to where I went. Yeah, I went to St. Lucia. I went to Grenada. Spent a couple of months there, and then I went across to Barbados. Um, this guy, Nicholas Lafond.
Yeah,
You know him, right?
Nicholas Lafon. Yeah,
Right.
I had him
He
on the
invite.
platform just recently, and he just blew a bombshell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, when he came to Trinidad, he's the come at me, and that is where we began, to have a good friendship. And he said, anytime you come to Barbados, just let me. I said, okay, that's fine. And we carry on a good friendship from there. And yeah, when I went to Barbados, he told me to come by him, and I went by him. And when I went by him, I think the next week he was leaving for Canada. So I only stayed 1 week in Barbados, and I went back home. And then when I went back home now, I went working for a guy, wasn't horses. I was driving a truck, doing um buying shrimp from all over Trinidad,
Uh-huh.
and doing exporting it. And I worked with that man for about 1 year, and then I leave it. How I managed to leave it? There's a guy in Port of Spain. Oh, Mr. Mr. Mario Mirage. Everybody knows him. He died now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he had a groom called him Boblin, Anthony Andrews, and he said, "Grady, hey man, listen, why don't you come in town?" Because I was working at Rima, you know, and then I leave and I was living in Valstein. I said, "Man, come in town, man. I'll tell you, Trina, it's okay. I just try it out." That was in 1990. I'm not gonna forget that. Yeah, and I leave. He talked to the trainer and he tried to say, "Yeah, really come," because at that time the trainer, he wanted somebody to drive the horse box, and I could have drive horse box, I could have groom horses, and I could have swim horses,
So you're
and he
all
needed,
around there,
yeah, so
doing it all.
he needed somebody like that, and so yes, really come on. When I come, I was doing it all.
You know, when you said LaFon, I was thinking of Nico, but then you said then it hit me, Nicholas. Okay,
Yeah,
so now I got it. He's a great guy, man.
right,
Great guy.
Nico. So Nico Lafon, right? I know when he was small in
Yeah,
Barbados.
that's what I was
So
thinking. But
it
his
was it
dad,
it
right?
it was Nico and Ronaldo.
That's right.
Yeah, the last one was not born as yet when I met Nicholas in Canada. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they were little, boys and babies and thing. Yeah, so that was way back.
So they got a lot of history in this horse racing.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, way back. You know, so yeah. Then I went with Mr. Maraj in Port of Spain, and I worked with him down there for about maybe a year and a half to 2 years. And then after, he said, "Grady, um, you have your passport, right?" I say, "Yes, trainer." He said, "Okay, well, you going to Barbados?" I said, "Oh, okay." That time, your boy had no chick, no child, nothing at all. So I was a freelance, right? So I said, "Okay." So I came to Barbados with yeah, that was called Style and Flair. She was racing in the Barbados Derby, right? I think it was 91 or no, 91 or 92. Yeah. And I went with she, and he had another horse, Indian Jewel, and another. I take three of them to Barbados. And we were staying by Safi Joseph.
This portion of the video is brought to you by Amplify Stables. Having a good team is important when you are dealing with the horses. The energy, the passion, and the consistency all come together on the track and off the track. Amplify Stables gives you the full package if you are breaking horses or boarding horses. Please check out their website to get more information on how you can reach them. Check the link below. You got a lot of connections there, man. I
Oh,
mean, but the
yeah.
horse racing game is so connected, you know?
Yeah. So I went by Safi Joseph, and I stayed there with the horses race there. And I stayed there for about 3 months. Then we went back to Trinidad with the horses. And when I was back in Trinidad, Safi, right, tell Mr. Maraj, say, "Hey, I need a good group. I need somebody to come and work up here. Could you send Grady for me?" And Mr. Maraj, well, he gonna send some horses back up to Barbados. Say, "Yeah, I can send him for you. And if he wants to come, I say, it's okay." So he came and told me. I said, "Grady, I'm gonna send a whole bunch of horses to Barbados by Safi, and I want you to go with them." And I said, "Okay." And I leave, and I went to the horses to Barbados by Safi. I was by Safi for 12 years.
Oh, wow. That's a long time, man.
Yeah.
You spent that much time
Safi
in
Joseph, right?
Barbados?
Okay. Safi Joseph, which is the son, right? And Safi Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I know Safi Jr. when he was 5 years old. From 5 years old, I know Safi Jr. And I worked with him for a long time. I used to take him to shopping, school, everything. It was great.
You know,
So I was doing all,
not to
yeah.
cross you, but the same thing that you're saying, a lot of men are saying the same thing about Saffie Joseph Jr. because they know him from time he was such a little boy. So they got this kind of fondness for him now that they're seeing the success that he's reaping. So go ahead.
Oh yeah, even listen, because on the farm, it was a guy they called Square Boy, right? Then Darren Fortune, he passed it, right? At Woodbine, right?
You know, I used to
Right.
play tag with Darren when I was a little boy.
Darren, and I was so like that. So it was Darren Fortune, Square Boy, Randy Thompson. You know Randy,
Yes, yes.
right? It was Darren Fortune, Randy Thompson, me, the same Square Boy, and Rudolph Thompson. You know Rudolph Thompson Woodbine? I don't know if you know Rudolph Thompson.
No, I don't. I'm not too familiar with him. No.
They call him Al. He was working at Woodbine. Well, in those days, we was the gang. We was a group. Amen. And so that's how we know Baba. From 5 years, even 5 years, Baba used to be out every morning, first thing, at 5 years, come and check the horses. And he learned from his father, because his father, every morning, his father to come out, check the horses, and check the horses' leg, all four legs. And then Baba learned from there. And then we started to teach Baba certain things about, horse legs, and what to look for, what not to look for, when a horse got problem, what to do and thing, and Baba learned from there. So
So
it's
he's a good
me,
student.
yeah, it's me. And Baba was very, very, very inquisitive in the horses from a young little kid.
Wow.
I mean, a young little kid, he started off. Every Miss Baba by the horses, he would us hanging out with, he's talking to us, asking questions and things. He was real into it. But I never know he'd reach so far, and I thank God. You know. So yeah, so I spent 12 years, with them, and then I leave. I went to Trinidad for I think a week, and I came out to Barbados. Then I went working for I used to operate cranes in Barbados too, with a company called J Crane. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
with J Crane, and then Heinz Transport. I worked in it for about a year, and then I went back to the horses again. I went by Safi, and I worked with them for about 4 years. Yeah, for about 4 years. And then uh, Darren Fortune, he was in Canada. And then he come down with his daughter one Christmas and say, hey, Grady, you want to go to Canada? I said, man, I'm not too sure about Canada. He said, man, listen, Steve, which is Steve Atara. He said, man, Steve is looking for a good groom. And I told him that, he have a guy in Barbados, a good guy, which is me referring to.
Right. That's right.
So then he tells Steve about me. And Steve said, yes. Said, that's fine. If you want to come, that's fine, because I'm looking for a good groom. And Darren come and said, Grady, you're going to Canada. So I don't know. He said, okay, I'm going to do everything for you. Darren come over, Steve, get the paper, everything, everything, sign up everything, send the paper for me. And I ended up going to Trinidad for about 2 days, get my visa, and I come to Canada. I was by Steve. And I worked with Steve for 2 years from let me see, 05, from 04. From 04 to 06, I was Steve. And
Yeah.
then I come to the US.
You
And how I
know,
come to yes, go ahead.
no, I was going to reel back because I know you got a lot of history. And I don't
Oh yeah.
want you to reel it all off in one. I
No.
want to hear some more about these stories and because I spoke with Tyrone Harding. You
Oh,
familiar
good
with
guy.
Tyrone Harding?
Good
And
guy. Good guy.
he said the same thing about Darren too. So I'm seeing a connection
Oh
with
yeah.
Darren, with Tyrone, all these guys. And now you brought Safi Joseph Jr. into the picture.
Yeah.
And I'm not shocked, but I'm really happy to hear so much history from time he was such a little kid and how
Oh yeah,
inquisitive
yeah.
he
But
was.
yes, he was in everything about horses. He wants to know.
I know
You know.
he's very competitive. One thing
Yes.
that the guys that I've met so far have told me is that this guy, he's very competitive. He wants to win. So, did you see that as a young man with him?
Oh yeah, yeah. Baba wants to win everything, and trust me, that guy, right? He has no problem of giving you anything at all. No problem at all. You know, and he could spot something very fast because we teach him what to look for and what not to look for about horses. And every week, Baba go, he's around horses. And he learned it from his father, because his father used to be out with the horses all the time, all the time, all the time. But he was with the horses more than father everybody else. He the first person out in the morning, and in the evening time, he's same with the horses too. You know, and I love that family. They've been good to me, right? They've been really good to me, and I have nothing bad to say about them.
So you said you spent some time in St. Lucia and in Grenada too as well.
Yeah, I spent 6 months in St. Lucia.
Was this all through the horses?
No, no, no.
Oh,
Like
something else.
St. Lucia, I went by um I went with one of my, okay, how should I say it? My uncle wife's sister was living in St. Lucia, right? And I went to help them because they had a little business in St. Lucia.
I
And
see.
you know, at that time, I had no chick, no child, so I was a freelance. So I could go anywhere I want. So
Free and single and ready to mingle.
yeah. So I wanted to travel because I love traveling, right? So I wanted to see, all the places, that I could afford to see. And I was getting the opportunities and I took it. And
Nice.
I went it for 6 months, and I see the whole country. I did a lot of things in St. Lucia, and then I was driving a car going all around the country, looking for produce, for the for the go and sell to the schools and restaurant and thing. Yeah, I used to be in that all the time.
So,
But it was
so
it
tell
was
me
getting a
some.
lot. Yes, go ahead.
I was gonna say, tell me something about Trinidad and I've heard so many different stories from people from Trinidad with the horse racing, and to the point where horse racing is not so big anymore. What happened? This portion of the video is brought to you by Amplify Stables. Having a good team is important when you are dealing with the horses. The energy, the passion, and the consistency all come together on the track and off the track. Amplify Stables gives you the full package if you are breaking horses or boarding horses. Please check out their website to get more information on how you can reach them. Check the link below.
You see, back in the 80s, Trinidad was the number one island in the Caribbean for horse racing.
I know.
Trinidad,
I
they
know.
had best set of horses ever come from any part of the world come to Trinidad. And I know back in the days, we used to have 15 to 20 horses in our starting stall, in the starting gates, right? And basically every race, 9, 10 races, all the entries, it's full. We used to have 5 and 6 reserve in every race back in the
Wow.
days.
So what
You
happened?
know, I think my personal feelings is that when they centralized racing in Arima, right, that just cut everything because when it turned to the sand, right, they get a lot of horses was breaking them because a lot of horses wasn't accustomed on running that fast in the sand,
Hmm.
because back in the day it was turf, everything was turf. Everything was turf back in the days, and since they get this into the sand now, and then they centralize the track at one places, people from south don't want to come to Arima, and then people from Port of Spain don't want to come to Arima. And yeah, I would say that was one of the big downfalls because of the distance, you know.
But
And then
that's
when
interesting. Just the distance alone would cause that?
pardon me?
Just the distance alone would cause that?
Well, I would think because I know there's a lot of people from town that say they are not going to Arima because they gotta travel.
Hmm.
And people from south were saying the same thing also. So it's very few people leave from town and go to Arima, and even south is the same thing. Very few people. But then when a lot of horses start breaking on, on track, people saying, okay, well, hey, they're just going out of it. And then the
Wow.
economy started go down a bit. And then Um, but I think people that just get fed up at that, and then when things are get a little expensive, and owners feel listen. I live in Ohio, but
Hmm.
since I come to the States, I wasn't living close to a racetrack,
Oh,
and
okay.
then I got married, and then when you start a family, and then you start to put some expense, and then you get house and everything, the horse the being as a groom in the States, right? And living so far, the the pay for the groom for grooming horses, I cannot really live on that.
So that's a very interesting point. So let's stay right there because I've been this thing being baffling me for quite a while because I
Mhm.
mean you have so much knowledge and experience with the horses, and
Yes,
you would consider yourself a good groom, and also the trainers would consider you as a good groom. Why
yes.
is it that as a groom still won't get the love in terms of pay scale in these times? Horse racing, there's a lot of money. I know there's some races that are very small, but as a
Yeah.
groom, you guys get up so early in the morning, you go fix the horses, but yet it's not enough money. Tell me why that still continues.
Well, you know, I think for me, I leave the game. I wouldn't say I leave the game, but I'm away from the game for about at least 19 years now. But it's 19. Yeah, close to 19 years, yeah. You know, and back then, you know, I could have lived, you know, being a groom, right? I could have lived because I was single, you
Right.
know, and I didn't have a lot of expense, a lot of bills. I didn't have that to take at that time. So being a groom for me, with that kind of money, what I want to have, I can achieve it with the amount of money that, that I have because everything is that high. But at that time, it was good. But when I get married, it was a different story. And I love the game. I love the horses. I mean, I love racing because I watch races all the time on TV. All of them I watch races. So I follow the races and I follow Woodbine because I got a lot of friends at Woodbine.
Right.
So I follow all the races up there. Yeah, but for me, everybody's different, right? But for me, I can, start a family on that.
I see. So I guess in a sense, it was just your time to depart from the racing game and just be a fan, watch it from the outside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
There's a lot of people who say the same things too. I just met a guy who was a successful trainer,
yeah.
and he's out of. He told me he's out of the racing game,
Hmm.
and he was doing trucking now. So
Oh,
this is yeah.
well, that's
So
well, that's what I do.
so there's well, it seems to be a trend because I know a jockey who's involved, who's a pretty good jockey too, and now he's involved with trucking too as well. So there must be something that is out there in the water. You guys are following the same path.
Well, since I have been in the States, right? The only job I ever done was trucking.
Good money?
Pardon me?
Is it decent money?
Oh, way more than what I was doing as a crew.
Hmm.
Way more. And I've seen every state in America on land. I've seen every state. And only one province in Canada I haven't seen is Alaska. But I've seen every other province in Canada with
Man,
trucking.
you do a lot of traveling. You still come over the border a lot still to this
Well,
day?
since I had kids, right, and they started getting big, and they started realizing, well, they haven't sense, and they want the daddy around, because kids at this age, they want the parents, they want the parents around, and then they want the dad to be around, to be doing things with them, right?
Yes.
I had to also ease up over the road because the
I
kids they want
see.
to do things, and if I'm not there, that is the problem, you know. But when they was younger, they didn't know, they dealt with their mom alone, and the mom taking care of them all the time. So I get to see every state in America. And I've been all about. I've been from Nanaimo, out in Vancouver, all the way to Newfoundland with
Oh, that's
trucks.
That's beautiful. I've been to BC one time, and it was really beautiful, really nice down there. Really beautiful.
Yeah, because I had to take a boat. Because I used to drive a tanker. Then after a tanker, I leave that. I do freight, and then after freight, I went delivering trucks. So I used to pick up trucks from down in Laredo, Texas, Virginia, Roanoke, Virginia, and McConkey, Pennsylvania. So it's Mack, Volvo, and International and Freightliners. So they used to bring them across the border into Laredo from Mexico. So we used to go down there, pick up 3 or 4, and take it all any part of the US or Canada. So I used to do a lot of driving and a lot of flying. So that is how come I reached. I used to have to take a boat from Vancouver to go over to Nanaimo to deliver trucks. The boat take 3 hours. From Nova Scotia, from Nova Scotia to Newfoundland, the shortest way by boat is 9 hours. And then when you reach there, gotta drive 500 miles from there to St. John, Newfoundland.
I want to ask you a question,
Yes.
Grady, because I'm just listening to what you're saying, and you say, okay, I spent 6 months in Canada, went back to follow my horse. From there on, I went to different islands, ended up in Barbados, 12 years. You met Saffie Joseph and Saffie Joseph Jr. You reel off a bunch of names, people involved in the racing. When you sit back sometimes and you think about this and you say, look, man, I was just in the stall, just grooming these horses, and now here I am, traveling all over these beautiful states, all these provinces. Like, does it all come together? And what do you say for yourself?
Well, every time, right? Since I was small, a little kid, like around 8 or 9 years, right? They had a show on TV. Back in the days, they called it BJ and the Bear.
I remember that one.
And I just fell in love with a show, and that is what I want to do when I was a little kid. And I said I would never get a chance, to ever do that because I just love traveling. I love trucks, and I love going different places, and that I was fascinated by that, and I never thought that I get a chance to do it.
Wow, you're a
Because
strong dreamer. You got strong dreams, man.
back in Trinidad, right, one of the hardest things to get is a visa to the US. That the hardest thing to get from Trinidad. So I never thought I would get it, but I was always hoping one day I'd get it. And then I said, I love the horses. So I started having horses when I was 11 years old. From school. Come from school, right? In even time, go straight to the farm every day. And then on Saturday and Sunday, whole day be in the farm.
Wow.
Monday morning, back again. So that's why I started off. And I started off working, mining 5 horses, right? At the farm for $5.
That's a lot of history.
Yeah, people would believe that, And I think they say you gotta pay to learn. So, that time, I said, I just love the horses and I didn't care how much money I get. But me and the 4 other guys who was with me, yeah, we just love the horses and we say we're gonna start from there.
Wow.
And
I have a cousin that born in Barbados, and he went to Trinidad. I think he went to ride horses, or I'm not sure if he just ride horses or he was working with the horses. But now he's been there for so many years, maybe over, I don't know, maybe over 40, over 40 years. And I talked to him in the pandemic times and just maybe a year ago. And he's a full Trini now, he's just down there,
Which part? Which part? Which part?
I think when I spoke with him, he said, did he say Arima? I can't remember exactly where he said he was living.
Oh, he's in Trinidad?
In Trinidad, yeah.
What's his name?
First name is Robin.
Robin?
Robin, yeah. Back
Wait a
then.
minute. Well, I know Robin in Trinidad, he's a veteran Robin. He used to work for Colty. This is Colty, Cordurant. Right? Yeah, he used to work for This is Cordurant. And he buys some good horses in Trinidad. I know that for sure. That is the only veteran Robin I know.
The chances are that that was him.
Yeah, good guy. But he groomed some good horses in Trinidad. Working my
Yeah.
co-giant. Yeah, I know Robin, man. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of guys from Downey, and even most of them guys who are is at Woodbine. I mean, I know them. Like, I say me and Randy, that crew, we're good friend. Like Whitefall. I don't know if you know Whitefall, Mohammed. At Woodbine. You know, I know him. As I said, when I was in Canada, Ronaldo did not come to Canada. No, he was there before, but he had not come to Woodbine, which is dad. He
Mhm.
Ronaldo, the last one, right? They had just came. You know, even BF. I know BF good too.
Oh,
Because
you
when
know.
I yeah, because when I had just came to Barbados, right? BF
That's
was
right.
around because BF used to work for Safi also. I think as a
Yeah, he
trainer.
told me the
So
story.
yeah,
Crazy story. Crazy
right.
funny story.
And it was BF and Charles.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right. I met
yeah, just
Charles
BF and
too.
Charles. We are good friends. You know. And yes, always Trini, hey Trini boy, hey Trini boy. I would never forget when BF used to call me that. You
You
know,
know, funny thing
yeah,
about BF is that BF told me he loved Trinidadian food.
I,
He
I know,
loved,
I
he's a
know, I know.
sucker for Trinidadian food.
Yeah, so most of them guys, no, most of them guys, who's from Barbados, because man, I'm a Trinidadian, but I love Barbados. I just love Barbados. You know, I'll go back to Barbados any I live. Because the island is so small, and you could grow on the island in your finger. Yeah, you
but
know,
but that's something. I hear the same story from a bunch of other people when I was there back in February last year, and a bunch
yeah,
of Jamaican guys,
yeah.
guys from different places, and they said the same thing too. So I guess there's something there, something special about the people and the island, right?
Oh yeah, even Leroy. I know Leroy go too.
Hmm.
The two Leroys. The one who working is a groom, and the one who is agent.
That's right.
Yeah, So I know all them guys from way back in the days. So
And you know a lot of people, and you just said the one who works as the groom and the agent. And I had to put it together, and I know exactly who you mean now. The big one and the bigger one.
okay, I did. Well, yeah. I know all these guys, and yeah, a whole bunch of them. And we all good friends. I never had any animosity against anybody up there. And I never had a falling out up to this day with anybody. Even worse, Alvin. You know Alvin, right?
Oh,
Right. Alvin, he and I, we was stable mason in Barbados. All of us worked together.
oh man. So
Oh yeah,
I'm the more and more that I meet more people, I'm
yeah,
finding out in horse racing there's a lot of relationships, and
yep,
in groom world, people are so connected. In the trainers, that everyone is connected pretty much, but it's such
yep,
a close knit community, and the relationships are so intertwined. And it's funny how some jockeys would get good rides and other jockeys wouldn't get such good rides. Can you
right.
tell me or share any story that would give me more information why some jockeys wouldn't get those rides with some of these barns and some of these trainers?
Um, I don't want to get myself in a lot of confusion here. People are going to say Grady see this and Grady see that, you know. But you got some trainers prefer certain jockeys, right? Um, some trainers, they left the owners, to choose what riders they want, you know. Then you have some jockeys, they just not into it. They just want to ride, right? Just for riding sake. Some of them they're not putting out, the effort, to go and really, get the job done properly. You know, I mean, from way back in the days, when I know it in back in the times, right? Jockeys got so good now, right? They have agent now. But back in the days, jockey had no agent. They used
You
to
had to
have
hustle.
they have to go out and hustle for a ride to get rides. No, they just gotta sit down and they have everything coming to the hand.
And I think
You know,
that in some other places, like say for instance, some of the smaller tracks, I know down in Winnipeg, the guys down there were telling me that they don't have agents. That they I mean, some have agents, but for the most
right?
part, people hustle to get the mounts, right?
Yeah, that's how it was like back in the days. But everything changed up nowadays.
But it's a
Everything
big
changed up a
business,
lot.
big
Yeah, it's
business
a business.
because
That's
I
right.
mean, the jockeys are paying the agents. So if the jockeys are paying the agents to get them rides, that tells you something, right?
Yep, yep. There you go. There you go. But I mean, it have a lot. It have a lot of jockeys, and it have a lot of good jockeys coming up here too. You know, a lot of good jockeys, and then I think trainers does watch, does look at jockeys and look at the effort and see how interested they are in riding horses. And some trainers like how certain jockeys are sitting horses, and some trainers they just they don't care. That's it.
You,
I'm not-
you know that draws a good point because I'm thinking about like different things when it comes to horse racing, and I'm like, there's some jockeys, you know, the trainers or whoever, they don't care their lifestyles or whatever, so they just want a jockey who knows how to get to the finishing line first,
Yep.
and and do you think the other stuff that surrounds the jockeys or whatever, does that really matter, or just a good jockey that knows how to finish? Is that it?
But I know some trainers, right? And I know I'm not gonna call him, right? Sometimes, no matter how bad he's riding, he's going to get a ride. I know some trainers just love how a jockey's just sit on horse, no matter how he ride a horse, he just love how he sit on horse. And some trainers just want you a jockey just to get a job done, no matter what. And it have a lot of jockeys. They have different style of riding, and some trainers just love that. You know, that is my belief because if I was a trainer, right, I might think the same way too. You know, and some trainers they don't like jockeys bad talking each other for certain rides.
So I
And
guess so they can see right through that if a jockey is bad talking or whatever, they can see right
that's
through
right.
that and
That's
see the
right.
caliber, the character.
There you go. Because it follows. And I know to myself, it has some jockeys, right? Modern galloping, oh man, they are the bomb. Race day is a different story. So you have trainers look at all these things too. They look at all these things too. And some trainers, they look at your attitude. Very important as a youngster, very important when you want, to get a ride from a trainer or you want a trainer to look at you. Very important. Your attitude and your appearance. Very
Oh man.
important.
Now,
Yeah.
that's really interesting to hear. But I want to ask you about, since you were the groom, I want
Yeah.
to ask you about uh, there were some statements I had. You had the kid on the other day, maybe a few weeks ago, Nico Lafon, and
Yeah.
Nico was saying, to be honest, he was telling me, Derek, the reason why there's some trouble on the track, the horse is breaking down and so forth, because some trainers just run the horses too long. They keep riding them too long, too many times for the year, whatever, and it the trainers, the horse people are saying it was the track, something else, but he's telling me no. Sometimes it's just they run these horses too long, and the horses are tired at the end of the year. Is that a thing?
Um, it have some horses could take it and it have some horses cannot take it. Right? And I got some trainers, um, they're gonna run the horses, right? Just because they want to get a dollar. Right? And for me, it doesn't always work so. If you don't choose the right races for your horses, you're not gonna win races. You're just gonna be running the horse down into the dirt, right? It's just like a human athlete. No matter how much you run, you will get tired. If you don't
That's
give
for
your
sure.
body if you don't give your body enough time to recuperate, then you're in some problem. No matter how good you are, you will break down.
And you know the thing,
So
Grady, is that the one thing that struck me the most was the majority of these breakdowns started coming at the end of the season. So
because the horse is tired.
so that it's telling me something. Maybe they're pushing it a little bit too hard because people are down with
Exactly.
money or whatever.
That is true. You know, because when the every start they go out right, if they don't put a horse in in the right spot, right, the horse not gonna place. It's not gonna place, and then you forcing the horse to run all the time, all the time. You're not gonna win races, and then eventually the horse just gonna cap out on you, and that's it. You know,
Do you do
because
you believe that the older the horses get now that they should be retired or something? Because I see it across the board where they're trying to prevent the older horses from running.
yeah, yeah, because just like in at Woodbine, at a certain age, or if you're not racing to a certain amount, a race for the year, they send the Fort Harry, right? So now I think they want to get rid of that of in Canada because so the older the horses get, right, is the more weaker the body get.
Well, just like us, because quite honestly, if I sprint right now, my knee's gonna hurt me for the next 2 months.
You're not gonna reach that because you're gonna be see because of the age. The things we can do when we was young, we cannot do it now. So it's the same with animals also. I mean, they're not machine. Machine is the only thing you can run right to the wrong. You know, but human and animals, you can't do that.
So do you think that a lot of these controversies happening because people are holding on to the past where they have a horse, they know the horse was or used to be good, and they keep the horse in a relatively good shape, but it just don't have more than one or two runs for the whole year, and people still want to hold on to the past.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't look for young stocks, right? Get more newer horses, right? They're gonna try to hold on to that one horse and see what he could do. But guess what? That if you're holding on to that horse all the time, right, and that horse not bringing in money, then you're going down, and then you're gonna try to force the horse to race in certain races that you can't win no money at all. So
Yeah,
you're
I
just
guess it gets
hoping
tough.
that the horse is going to win the next start. You're just hoping you're going to win the next start and the next start and the next start. And that is it. It comes just like you're gambling, the lottery. You see, everything plays, oh man, and you lose. Well, I'm going to win the next one. I'm going to win the next one. I'm going to win the next one. Guess what? Next one ain't coming at all. If you don't try stop or try something new, try something different, then you're in a lot of problem.
So, it's the same kind of state when it comes to actually running the horses themselves.
There you go. 100% correct with that.
Oh, quite interesting. So I guess the name of the game really is to keep rebuilding, getting younger stock, and keep refurbishing, replenishing. Sorry, and keep your barn healthy. Because to be honest, as your horses get older, you're liable to get more breakdowns, and the money's just going to get slimmer and slimmer.
Yeah, just like it. If you have a car, right? I mean, your car driving good for the first, 3-4 years, driving real good, right? If you don't take care of it, you have some problem, and you don't try to get something new, right? That car gonna break down on you 3/4 of the way if you're not even taking care of it. It's gonna
Now,
break down on you, and you gotta get something to upgrade. And
now
now everybody's upgrading to newer stuff.
that's right.
You know, everybody upgraded to newer stuff. So
um,
that is my philosophy when it comes to that.
Grady, I don't know if I had another groom on here before, because a lot of times grooms say you never have grooms on your
Oh yeah,
platform.
hey, you had a groom that I know. He and I is a real good partner, a real good buddies. He just won the Queen's Play last year. He just
That's
won the
right,
Queen's Play.
Troy. Troy.
Troy, me and Troy is good friends too.
That's right. I keep forgetting. Oh, I have so many people on that I keep
Yeah,
forgetting.
you
But
know.
but
Oh yeah,
but Troy's a guy, man. He just sticks in the barn now. I see him. If I go around Woodbine, I
yeah.
can go like after 1 o'clock or something, and he's still there taking his time with the horse, and he's just just grooming.
Yeah, I know from Barbados. All you guys young together. My house is from Barbados. I know all them guys from Barbados. They all come to Canada. The branch of, and here they are. Look, like even Carlos. I know Carlos when Carlos was a groom in Barbados. You know, no, Carlos is a trainer in Canada. I didn't know that. And I mean, I'm glad for the men. Who leave from where they come, and they come to Canada and make a name for themselves, right? Look, and they say Barrow, who's a trainer in Canada. I know him. We all work grooming in Barbados.
Well, you know what? Speaking of Barrow, Rodney, right?
Yeah,
You know
right.
that he just won a grade 2.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm
Yeah,
glad to hear that, man. You know.
Wicked. The horse name is Wicked the Django. Another Bajan guy owns the horse. Anyways, you'll hear a lot more about that horse, but that horse definitely put him on the map a little bit, I guess.
Okay, okay,
But
okay.
he's doing relatively well.
Well, I glad for the man. Who I know. Came up from where we came up from. And you know they make something, of themselves. What I don't like, right, is that we leave from back home, I come up here, and you got to support them. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. They don't make a name for themselves. I don't like that. We leave home, we come for betterment, not for the worse. So when
That's
I
right.
leave back home and I come up here, you got to make yourself something. Don't degrade yourself. Upgrade yourself. You know. And I see a lot of guys doing it in Canada, and I'm really happy for them. I'm really happy for them. You
I'm
know.
pretty sure they'll be very happy to hear you saying that too, because sometimes other people need to echo it so that people can really fully understand how people feel about each other, right? People
Yes. Yes.
generally just happy.
Because I know all them guys who's is doing in who's trainers in Canada and make something for themselves. I know their background, right? And they had nothing at all in it. I mean, nothing at all. You know.
Right.
I'm really happy for the guys. And what I will say, if we as groom don't root for each other, right, and try to lift each other up, right, to build ourselves higher, then we're not gonna get anywhere at all. We'll be a groom for the rest of our life. You know.
Do you think that even in this world of grooms and trainers and all the connections with all the guys who are so, I always say to them that you guys have so much knowledge when it comes to horses. I mean, if you guys will really put that together, you guys can really go far. So, in your words, what would you say the guys should be doing actually to make themselves even on a bigger scale?
Well, who like the grooms, right? Who are really into it, right? Like from the old heads, and they're into horse racing for this a long period of time. I think that some of the grooms, who you know come to this part of the world, and some of them they just want to be a groom alone. They are happy and content for that. And then some of them, again, they want to uplift the step. They want to go another step. But I think there's a lot of grooms who think, well, listen, um, to be a trainer, it's a lot of headache, a lot of worries. You got to pay this, pay that, pay this, pay that. You're not sure. But if they want to be successful, in being a trainer, you cannot look at the negativity alone, and you would not be successful into it at once. You got to work yourself into it, and you got to plan. And if you don't plan, then if you don't have a plan, then you won't go forward. You
I
wouldn't.
agree with you, Grady. I agree with you 100% because I've met some people so far who we would consider as being as really successful with the
Mhm.
horses. But these people have told me their stories. People that they started up with nothing. Either their father, their grandfather,
Yep.
and even to this day, they put on a good shirt and a good pants every now and then, but sometimes it's rough. So, I
Yes.
mean, if those guys got that kind of talent, they can probably do it too.
Oh yeah, they could definitely because listen, we as grooms, right? Back home, we have more knowledge with the horses because we spend more time with the horses than the owner or the trainer. Our grooms spend more time with the horses than the owner of the trainer because they know everything about the horses. Know everything. And there's a lot of grooms. I know a lot of grooms right now who could be trainer, but just they don't want to. They just don't want to be a trainer.
Yeah.
And I think because they're thinking that it is too much a hassle. That is my thinking of some of the grooms. They think it is too much a work and too much a hassle and headache to be a trainer. Because it could be sometimes. That's the honest truth. And I think that is the biggest downfall right now. I was thinking they don't want to go further because of that.
Well, I think
That's
also
what
there's a lot of there's a lot of things at play too because
Yeah.
for example, like you'll have people who own the horse owners, and
Yeah.
in order you gotta be. I would imagine. I'm not working with the horses like that. I'm
Right.
just a fan from the outside, as people would say. I'm just a fan. So, but really, I'm telling the story for a lot of people who are involved in racing. I love to tell the stories. I love to broadcast the stories, and I love to showcase it. So, from my view, I would say there are some people who are not so comfortable talking with these owners. That could be a big
Yes.
part of it.
Yes. Yes. That's a big part of it too. Because you got some people some of them are shy. They're very talented, but they're shy, and they don't want to
Oh
go
yeah.
forward to talk to people. Yes, I know that for sure. And you get some who are they're just natural, and they'll go
Did
up and talk to anybody just like that.
did,
You
did
know,
you did you know or get to know or met Charlie Jones?
Mr. Charlie, I saw him when he rode in Trinidad, and I talked to him in Barbados.
Hmm. And
Yeah,
did you see his son
Jono.
Jono? And
Yes,
now that Slade Jones was riding, became Apprentice of the Year 1 year here. I think he retired because he was growing too big. I mean, one time he
yes.
was he was 16 years old when I met him, and and then the next time I meet him, he was like a giant. He was so tall, so
Yeah, I
big.
know because I saw him on your show, but I never saw him right as a kid because I had left Canada, right?
Yeah.
But I know Jono, right? And I know even Bowman Patrick,
Wow.
Patrick husbands. Oh yeah, I know them. They're very 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 good. You know, I know them when they used to in I know when Patrick came to Trinidad and ride horses. And he when I was in Trinidad, he won the President Cup with how they call Son Saxon. He was 16 years old when he first came. Borders Way. Small little boy,
Wow.
yes, small so small. Yeah, you know. And then John come after, you know.
Would, would you
Dino
say?
and the
Sorry.
Ward
Go ahead. Continue what you were saying. I didn't want to
yeah,
cut you off.
nah, even Andy Ward, you know, and it was Andy Ward,
Mhm.
Jono, um, Patrick, Randy Cumberbatch, Stephen Gaskin from in Winnipeg. Oh yeah, all
Yeah.
these guys. But they all come on. We all were
Wow.
good friends in Barbados too.
This
Yeah.
is a very, very close connected, not only Barbadian, Trinidad, but a whole Caribbean community. Are you
Oh yeah.
connected with some of the guys in Jamaica too, or not really so strong in
Yeah.
Jamaica?
Look, I know you have a groom in Barbados. He loved Barbados. Called a Sprinter.
Hmm.
Very, very good guy. He was working for Charlie for a long time. Then he was working with George for a long time. You know, yeah, I know he good. And then I had some jockeys from Jamaica. They were living in Trinidad, right? One in Palmer. He got Palmer. He was a jockey, but he leave that, and he was doing some other stuff in Trinidad, and then he leave and he come to Barbados, and I think he married a Bajan woman, and he's living in Barbados. He's at the track. Good guy.
Wow.
I know even this jockey out in Winnipeg. Look, is Winnipeg or somewhere? But Richard Lunan, he's Jamaican. I
Did
don't even
you?
know Richard Lunan, but yeah, he is. He was in Trinidad and Barbados too. So yeah, I know a few of them all they well too. Yeah, and then when I used to drive truck over the road, I used to go to oh shucks. out in Winnipeg, right, at the track. Guys to go and look for those guys at the track. And then there's a track in Saskatchewan. I forget the name of the track, you know.
Which one was that?
There's a track in Saskatchewan.
Is it still there?
No, there's another one. But a lot of Trinidad guys, you know, they ride out there for a little while. And then when they go to up into Calgary, there's a track up in Calgary. And then there's another big track in this big city out in Alberta. Oh, shall we name it?
What is Alberta Downs? There's Century Downs or Century
Miles. Yeah, Century Miles.
Mile.
Right. You know, so I used to go when I used to drive truck and deliver truck. Once I'm in the city, I used to go look for some of these guys.
You go find the track and find the guys, and you go connect with them.
Oh yeah, you know. So I think all about it. And that's why I used to like to do one thing. You know. So one time around, I used to go to the track and see what I could see and hang out on for a while and then back on the road again. Yes, I have a lot of friends out there too.
I would say that, you know, true horse racing is actually given the opportunity to a lot of people to make a living for their families, you know.
Oh yes, it is. You know, so you know, I have nothing negative to say about horse racing. I love horse racing. You know, I love horse racing.
Do you think, Grady? Do you think that since you see on that level, because I've spoken to people who work for, I guess we would say Barbados government, and
yes,
and you know, I'm just based on my own thinking is that I'm judging. You know, I'm just judgmental, I guess, but they're not seeing the importance of the horse racing like how they see other areas. And I'm thinking that's a mistake they're making because you got several men and women who are going out there and making a living for their families and for themselves, you know, and it's true horse racing. You see that's a mistake that some of these governments make.
I personally, I would think so. You know, that is the honest. I would think so. You know, but you know, you can't tell the government what to do. You know, I mean, no. It's just like in Trinidad. You know, I think the horse racing industry going down because, you know, nobody want to put money into the horse racing game. You know, and if you don't get help from somewhere, then nobody else can come and make no money at all. You know, they can't make no money at all. And I think that is one of the biggest downfalls. You know, the government is not trying to help, you know. I don't want to say it, you know, but, you know, I think everybody, they're looking for their own self. They're looking for others. People in the horse racing industry, that is the only job they know in their life. They know nothing else, you know. And it could be a big mistake if you let that go down the drain just like that. You know, I mean, I can't really tell them what to do, you know, but yeah, they need help. Yeah. But it starts with the government.
I agree.
The government, you know, they're who run the country and they're who runs everything.
I agree. You know, I've met some people at the racetracks, and the one thing that they told me, and this is coming from trainers and owners, that a lot of times it's like, they're like, okay, if some of these tracks close, and you know, Fort Erie has been on a kind of like a decline over the years, and
yes.
They say, well, what do we do with all these people who are working at the track? Because a lot of these people, they're not interested, or they're not going to be able to function in a different type of environment, right? So, you know, it's important that these tracks remain kind of active, you know, and the game continues.
Yes, 100%. 100%. You know, because as I said before, you know, either people at the track who they don't know to do anything else other than just mine resources. You know, they depend on that. That is all they know to do since they was a little kid. You know, they're born into that. And how could he, you know, just close the track? What would they do? They can't function anywhere else because they don't know to do anything else except in mine horses. You know, and that's the level of passion.
You seem to have adjusted really well, and you seem to be the kind of person that would be able to function properly, even though you're not in the horse racing.
Yeah.
How were you able to do that?
Anyway, you see, well, for me, right, is that everybody's not the same, but when you put your mind to do something, if you want to do something, right, you do it. And I always say, ever since I was a little kid, if you want something, it's not gonna come to you. You gotta go for it.
Those are very
And
important words.
yes, and if you don't work for it, right, it's not gonna be handed over to you. When you want something, you gotta go get it because nothing can come to you. Trust me on that. So me, I everything I do, in my life and to where I am today, right, is because I wanted it, so I work and I go towards it. And I thank God for what I have today and where I am today. You know,
You know,
I leave the horse racing industry, right? It has been really good to me, right? From a young kid, right? Until I leave it. And where I am now, I wouldn't say I'm far off, right? When it comes financial wise, right? To what I have today and where I am today than when I was in horse racing game.
okay.
I thank God for. But the horse racing will always be my blood. And I live like just about 100 miles from Turfy Park, and I live 225 miles from Tilson Down. That's in Cleveland. But it's just the time, because of my work, I doesn't really get, chance to go to the track all the time. Because you got Tilson Down, not too far, Turfy Park, not too far, Keeneland, not too far from where I live, and then Churchill Down, not too far from where I live. But it's just a time to go to it. I doesn't go to it. But I watch it on TV because I look at it on TVG. I got to have TVG because I watch at all the tracks, all the races from all parts of the country and the world. So that how come I have Woodbine as my number one track on my TV. Yeah,
I want to ask you a question here
yes,
because
sir.
when was the last time you've been to a racetrack?
Um, to a racetrack. Okay, you mean like to actually watch a race?
So actually been to a racetrack and watch a race.
Oh, Woodbine.
How long ago was that?
That was a couple of years ago. That is I'll tell you because okay, in 2019, just before the COVID took place, right? Okay, before the COVID took place, right? I was driving truck over the road,
Mm.
and just 1 month before the COVID took place, I changed my job and I was driving for Honda, delivering parts for Honda from where I live to Cleveland every night. So I've been home every night, and a weekend I've been home. But before that, I was over the road for a while. So I was in Toronto. I think
Wow.
it was in August. No, August. It was in August. And I came to the track at Woodbine and I watched a couple of races. I talked around there. I see most of those guys and I talked to them before I leave to come back here.
Oh wow. The reason
Yes.
why I asked you that because they're saying that the people coming to the track is obviously is declining too. People just like yourself are
Yeah.
very happy just to watch it on their phones or watch it on
Yeah.
TV, and that's the main reason why I asked you that.
Okay. Yeah. But man, I look. The meet is going on in Turfy Park here, right? Right now.
Yes.
So I see like next 2 weeks. I think some of the guys, they are Turfy Park. Because Leroy, he comes here at Turfy Park most of the times. And then sometimes he comes some of Josie Carroll horses, and then some of the other trainers they come down here too.
I
So
think
like
so. Yeah.
when I think they have a couple of big races that's coming up soon, I'm gonna go to the track and have a chat with the guys only for a little while. But I'm
I
gonna
think
go.
that would be real cool. I think that'd be
Oh
real
yeah,
special.
oh yeah, oh yeah. You
And
know.
when you do take a picture or something and just send it
Oh
to me and
yeah,
let me post it, or you can post it yourself, man.
yeah. I'm gonna go look for the guys only, man. I'm gonna
All
go
right.
do that. Because I just love my horse racing people, no matter who they are.
That's really nice to hear. Grady, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey man, Richard, anytime. I appreciate you having me on here. you know, and I'm a big fan of the show because even when I'm driving on the road, right, and you have your show on, oh man, I love to watch it. Even Rocco,
I
you know,
appreciate it. Rocco's a good guy.
I
He's a
know,
really good guy.
yeah, I
Good
know,
guy.
you know,
Very a good. I would say Rocco is a good ambassador for the
he
sport. That's
is,
what I would say.
yes, he is very good ambassador, you know.
All right, my friend. Grady, thank you for coming on, man.
I appreciate it, man. You thank you so very much. You know, and you have a a blessed night and a wonderful new year, okay?
Thank you. You too. Don't be a
And
stranger.
you never know. I might be at the track at Woodbine when the meeting start.
I really hope so.
So I will see you up there.
All right. Take care, my friend.
All right. Have a good one, man. Thank you. I appreciate it again.
All right.